Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. It's Saturday night, and you know what that means. It's time for your AEW Collision Event Center Wrestling Report. Now, here's the man to give you that report, Mr. Eric M. Lima.
Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer, sir. Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977, episode number 1432 of the show. We're going to be talking a little bit about AEW Collision, the final Collision before Double or Nothing tomorrow night. And I'm really excited. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about Collision, and I'm going to give you my picks and predictions for AEW Double or Nothing in 2004 pay-per-view. I have a lot of matches on the card here, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 matches. 11 matches, in fact 12 if you count the buy-in match between Deonna Purrazzo and Thunder Rosa. So I'm going to add that match in there. So versus Deonna Purrazzo. So here we go. A lot of titles on the line at this rate, and so here we go. We're going to talk a little bit about now Collision. Excuse me. Now John Moxley was supposed to be called out by Don Callis, but John Moxley wasn't going to wait for Don Callis to call him out. So Don Callis comes out. He says, "Hey, let's forget this fighting." And he tries to say, "You remember what you did to me and all that?" And he goes, "What if we joined forces or something like that?" And I'm like, "Oh, I don't think so." And you knew it was some kind of set up because I think John Moxley kind of saw through Don Callis. So Konosuke Takeshita attacked him from behind, hurt, and proceeded to hurt his arm with a chair. And the rest of the Blackpool Combat Club were too late to save him. Bryan Danielson and Claudio Castagnoli. So, but then Will Ospreay responds to the attack by the Undisputed Kingdom, and Will Ospreay says he's more than determined to take that international title away from Roderick Strong. Then they have a special trios matchup: Claudio Castagnoli, Daniel Garcia, and a mystery partner going up against Lance Archer and the Righteous. That's Vincent and Dutch. So we were told that the mystery partner was a friend of Tony Khan's. Well, ladies and gentlemen, lo and behold, the ace of New Japan Pro Wrestling, the new president of New Japan Pro Wrestling, teaming up with Daniel Garcia and Claudio Castagnoli, Hiroshi Tanahashi. That's right, Hiroshi Tanahashi. And thanks to Hiroshi Tanahashi, he did pick up the victory. They did pick up the victory over the team of Lance Archer and the Righteous, and then Daniel Garcia got Hiroshi Tanahashi to do that dance, which I thought was hilarious. and they won. And then they wanted Claudio Castagnoli. He said, forget it. So I thought it was pretty hilarious. But, they got the job done. They got the win over the Righteous and Lance Archer. Meanwhile, a tag team matchup that has title implications. If the Lucha Brothers defeat the Gun Club, the Gun Brothers, they will get the trios matchup that they have at Double or Nothing will evolve into a unified trios title match. Well, the Lucha Brothers had their kids with them along with Alex Rejantes, and guess what? They picked up the victory over the Gun Brothers in a great matchup in a Battle of Brothers, and Pat comes out to celebrate because they get themselves a unified trios title shot. But Jay White comes out and starts taunting them a little bit. So I think Jay White says, "Hey, he beat the team. He was a man of his word." So the trios titles will be on the line. Arcadiora, which Jericho made fun of her name because, that's where you play video games. Oh my gosh. Hey Jericho, you just made a list, you stupid idiot. Anyways, and Chris Jericho and Big Bill said, I'm facing two guys, but I can do it. Then Brian Keith got into Jericho's face, and he goes, "I may have lost the match, but let me assure you, this isn't the last you see of me." And he walked away, which I thought, oh yeah, I think Jericho has put Mr. Mr. Brian Keith in a bad mood. So there's that. Kyle O'Reilly versus Big KM. If you don't remember KM, he used to be in Impact Wrestling. He used to team with Fallah Bah. I heard that Fallah Bah's gone dark in the Indies or something like that. So, and I miss the old school Fallah Bah. Bah. I miss that guy. Anyways, no. I miss Fallah Bah. So anyways, and Kyle O'Reilly, O'Reilly Auto Parts. I'm sorry. How's it going? Yeah, Kyle O'Reilly did pick up the victory over KM by submission in a quick fashion. Looks like he still wants to become the TNT champ. Will Nightingale addresses the Las Vegas crowd and Mercedes Moné. And she's like, and it seems like Will Nightingale wants revenge on the CEO of AEW. So, will the lovely Will Nightingale pull it off? We soon shall see. Tomorrow night, Double or Nothing. And Lexi Nair interviews Trent Beretta as he gets ready for his matchup against Orange Cassidy. And as he was talking, Rocky Romero interrupts and says, "You know what? We should put all this aside afterwards and become friends again, be best friends, be a family." And then he goes, "Not going to happen." Trent Beretta goes, "Not going to happen, and don't interrupt me again." Oh, what? I would have said, "Dude, I look at your face. It's not only punchable, it's breakable." Trent Beretta is a jerk. Meanwhile, there's a fatal four-way tag team match of the House of Black, represented by Buddy Matthews, who is considered the luckiest man in professional wrestling, being engaged to Rhea Ripley. Maybe you see his latest selfie, you know why. And Brody King teamed up with the Gates of Agony, that's Bishop Khan and Toa Leona, accompanied by Brian Cage, versus the Infantry, accompanied Sean D and Carly Bravo, accompanied by Trish Adora, and the Acclaimed, Max Caster, Latin Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, accompanied by Billy Gunn. And Max Caster did his usual raps and disses. And then while that match is going on, it was a heck of a matchup until the Gates of Agony, or the Cage of Agony, and the Acclaim were brawling. All six men were brawling to the back. The House of Black took advantage of the situation, pinned the Infantry, and won this fatal four-way match. I'm sure Malachi Black was very pleased. But Adam Copeland addresses the House of Black. He says, "Yeah, imagine, he says," and he thought about, the stipulations. Yeah, imagine if we join forces, but what if I win this match? I retain my title, but he thinks about having Brody King and Buddy Matthews form the House of Blood. Or the House of the Brood. You never know. Well, Malachi Black stepped into it this time, is all I gotta say. Well, after Wednesday's heinous attack by Serena Deeb, Timeless Tony Storm addresses that situation, and she was very harsh. She said she's going to make those seizures that Serena Deeb had, like a Sunday stroll in the park. You just made Miss Storm mad there, Professor Serena Deeb. Meanwhile, in a matchup, Mariah May took on legit Layla Hirsch, and after a little bit of shenanigans she's been causing, Mariah May picked up the victory over legit Layla Hirsch. Lexi Nair interviewed Serena Deeb to respond to what Timeless Tony Storm has to say, and she ended it with this: "Timeless Tony Storm, more like time's up, Tony Storm." I'm telling you, dude. I'll tell you about more cold cuts than a deli. Then they did a recap of Strickland versus Cage, and they Christian Cage, the Patriarchy, went back to the place where Nick Wayne got attacked. First got attacked by Strickland. And then out and about, the Young Bucks are Champ Sports to plug to hawk their new sneakers. You know what they say about that? Young Bucks, don't think you invented the Reebok pumps. They've been out since the 90s, pal. They were out in the 90s. don't take all the credit, dummies. Anyways, the trios matchup for the main event, FTR and Bryan Danielson took on Planet Jarrett or Team Slapnuts, I like to call them. Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, and Satnam Singh, accompanied by Karen Jarrett and Sanjay Dutt, or I like to call him Sanjay Butthead. And he acted more like a butthead. He said, "Hey, here's some money, Tony Schiavone." He goes, "Psych." I would have grabbed stuff in the neck, slammed his head on the desk, and took the money and said, "Thank you." Put the money in my pocket. And what happened to Sanjay? I accidentally tripped him, and he fell and knocked him out, and I took his money. I probably told him, "Well, give me all the money. I'm going to buy the Young Bucks the new Reebok pumps by the Young Bucks." Whatever. So, FTR and Bryan Danielson did pick up the victory after Danielson finally got the pin of Jeff Jarrett. And then they addressed the Las Vegas crowd of why they were fighting for AEW. And which is a noble cause. So, that is it for Collision. So, before we conclude the video, I'm going to make my picks and predictions. I don't know if you guys can see them or not, but there they are. See if I can. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, see, these are my picks and predictions. So these are my picks and predictions. So I'll read them off one by one as we conclude this video. The international title on the line, Roderick Strong to defend against Will Ospreay. Women's title, world title on the line, timeless Toni Storm against Serena Deeb. And the TNT title on the line in a barbed wire steel cage match as Adam Copeland defends against Malachi Black. Meanwhile, Jon Moxley and Konosuke Takeshita battle it out in an IWGP title eliminator matchup. Orange Cassidy goes one-on-one with Trent Beretta. Triple threat for the FTW title, Chris Jericho versus Hook versus Katsuyori Shibata. The trios matchup is now a unified trios trios title match as the Bang Bang Gang, that's Jay White and the Guns, defend those titles against Death Triangle. That's Pac, Penta El Zero Miedo, and Rey Fenix. And TBS title on the line, Willow Nightingale defends against the CEO, Mercedes Moné. Anarchy in the Arena, the Elite, that's the Young Bucks, Jack Perry and Kazuchika Okada going up against Team AEW, FTR, Bryan Danielson, and Darby Allin. World title on the line, Swerve Strickland defending against Christian Cage. 2 added matches, trios matchup, the Acclaim, that's Billy Gunn, Anthony Bowens, and Platinum Max Caster go up against the Cage of Agony, that's Brian Cage, Bishop Khan, and Tola Leona. And Thunder Rosa goes one-on-one with Deonna Purrazzo, AEW Double Or Nothing. Let's start with the international title match. Strong versus Will Ospreay. Ospreay's going to take it. And the World Women's Championship match, Toni Storm versus Serena Deeb. Toni Storm will retain. The barbed wire steel cage matchup for the TNT title, Adam Copeland versus Malachi Black. I'd say Copeland retains. And Jon Moxley versus Konosuke Takeshita in the IWGP title eliminator matchup. Moxley will knock Takeshita out of contention. Orange Cassidy versus Trent Beretta one-on-one. I pick Orange Cassidy. Chris Jericho versus Hook and Shibata with the FTW title on line that Jericho's defending. I'm picking Hook to win it back. Meanwhile, the trios tag team matchup, the trios matchup becomes a trios title match. Like I said, Bang Bang Gang versus Death Triangle. I picked Death Triangle to win those titles. TBS title line, Nightingale versus Mercedes Moné. I'm going to pick I picked Moné to win it. I think Mercedes Moné will have an advantage over Willow Nightingale. Anarchy in the Arena, the Elite versus FTR, Bryan Danielson, and Darby Allin. I picked Team AEW to win it. World title line, Swerve Strickland versus Christian Cage. Strickland will retain despite all that. And finally, the trios matchup versus the Acclaim versus the Cage of Agony. I picked the Acclaim to win. And Thunder Rosa versus Deonna Purrazzo. I picked Thunder Rosa. Well, that's all the time we have on this show. Episode number 1432 of Eric Lima Shenanigans in 1977. Thank you for tuning in. Well, I think I'll figure everything out for tomorrow if I'm going to do any videos tomorrow after I get back from a fellowship at the Peking Garden. So we'll see what happens. So thank you for tuning in, and I will see you later. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and until the next episode comes rolling around, Mr. Announcer, take us home.
That is all for today's episode. This is your announcer speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E, doing for Bob Saget Productions, and in association with Raven Bofa Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching today's episode. Tune in next time for another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. Goodbye for now.